Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Vibing with Sleazy, the podcast. This is season 6, episode 21, and this is the finale. Yes, the finale. Thank you all for listening, tuning, and downloading. I appreciate the newest countries. I've noticed the growth in Norway's been huge, so I really want to thank everybody that's been listening internationally. And just this season's been awesome, and I'm glad y'all been riding with me, and I really appreciate the love. And to get through 6 seasons, it feels like an accomplishment. And I thank everybody for the patience. I started the job at the zoo and been just out there so much. So I've been trying to pump out the episodes, and I'm glad that this all finally worked out. And I'm really, really glad to have the finale guest that I have. I mentioned on episode 20, I was hyped, but I didn't say her name. And I said, hey, something to look forward to tonight. I'm going to record. And that's when I put out that episode for episode 20. So, bam, we're at 21. And my special guest is someone that has been on the show multiple times, and I'm glad she's back. Since 2022, we haven't talked, so there's a lot to catch up on. So my special guest is Paige Beyond, aka Contrary Cherry. So how you doing?
Hey, I'm so excited to be back. I feel like the first time that we did the podcast was so long ago. And then, like, our whole friendship developed from there for, like, years on end. It's already been 3 years, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And the first time I met you, I remember you had this outfit on. It was fire pants, and you had some fire pants, and you have a wild, cool, like super dope outfit on today because you did a photo shoot before. So I complimented you when you entered my apartment because I told you I was like, hey, you've been doing some photo shoots. So you've been kind of telling me that you've been, vibing and doing that and doing it at different locations and talking about the zoo earlier. So before we'll dive into that. So you mentioned to me before we recorded that you did a photo shoot at the zoo at one time. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so a long time ago, like I said, I can't really recall. It's 4 or 5 years ago. We went and it was cold out, and I took several outfits, but we like the animals were so chill that day, and it was like during the week during like school time. You know what I mean? Like no one was there. It was like so chill. So I don't know. We had like a really good time, and the seals were like giving me all the love. I'll try to find it, but I'm so bad, y'all. I have like 14,000 pictures on my phone. My phone would freak Eric out because he once told me he deletes all of his text messages at the end of the day. Like,
I
fuck
do.
you if you have not replied. I'm deleting everything on my phone right now, and you ain't gonna be back in 3 days. Eric has blocked you.
It's gone. It's gone. I've got a new phone number too. Like it's gone. No, but yeah, no, that is definitely true. I do the same thing with photos where I will. This is how OCD and organized with photos, and I'm admitting this now in public, but I will literally email my photos into my email because it's quicker to download on my laptop, and I put my thumb drive in. I have a thumb drive where I have it all organized. Zoo pics, front pics. I got the city. I got it all laid out. So here's the deal. I got these thumb drives. So if anybody's listening and anything happens, God forbid anything happens to me, save my thumb drives. They got some really cool pics. So I got it all organized, but that's how I do it. That's how I like to save my posts because I like to have some some cleanness. Because I look at these pics and I'm like, oh, I want to post these, or hey, I want to share these. Wait, you've been on here for a while. I've already shared these, so get them out of here. So, but you got a lot of photos.
I have a lot of photos, and honestly, I have like my whole life been like the digital camera, the Polaroid camera, the little mini camera, like camera, 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 my whole life. And so, just like with the amount of photo shoots I've done, the amount of pictures I take of like client stuff and spell work, like all the things I do now that I really didn't do the last time we were on here. I did them for myself, but now I do all kinds of things for other people that I didn't do back then too. So I just have so many pictures that I let the iPhone, like if I do a photo shoot, I'll put it into a folder on my phone so I can find it. But my phone has like 10, 12,000 pictures on there. And like some of them are who knows what.
Yeah. Well, okay. First of all, I got two things. Number one, I want to say I'm proud of you and your evolution to where you are now. You've done great things. You've built your brand huge, and you're really, really connected with a lot of people from different outlets. And I just feel like your followers and your growth has been tremendous. So I also want to thank you for taking the time, to come by with me again on here. So, but what I want to say about cameras, how cool is that? I want to be honest. I don't know who started the trend, but I want to do it. And I feel like after this episode, you and I should do this summer. We should get disposable cameras and just I give you mine, you give me yours, or I just buy one and you buy one, and then you just basically like have somebody take pictures for the whole summer and you like develop or whatever and send it out or whatever, and it's like really cool. Like I've seen people give them to like singers and rappers where it's like, hey, if you send this back to me in the mail, like will you take 24 photos on this thing, and like Post Malone send it back to this guy. And he'll make like a whole slideshow out of all the photos, and it's just wild. Like what you've done the whole summer and year. It's pretty cool. Like I don't know. Like I don't think you would have to trade off because you're basically giving two blank cameras back. But it's like, hey, you take a camera out. I'm gonna take a camera out and see what the hell you pick up, and then you just like develop it on the same day and see what happens.
I mean, I would totally do that. I
Yeah.
print pictures still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go to Vistaprint. This is not an ad, and they will hook you up. You can get business cards. You can get, like pretty much anything. Like, I love printing pictures, and I have a lot of pictures like of myself, like modeling pictures, like a lot of old ones,
Mm-hmm.
like hanging up in my house. But I like to print pictures. I want to be a scrapbook girly so bad, but I just like am collecting everything. And then one day I'll have a full scrapbook to design, like I don't know. I
No,
have a
that's
lot of
cool.
stuff.
I love scrapbooking. I'll be honest. When I
Yeah.
was unemployed the past few months, the end of last year, I scrapbooked. I went hard. I organized my sports cards. I went through so many memories. Like got out photo albums, went through stuff, and one of my goals for 2025, I want to take a lot of my printed photos and digitize them. Where you send it off to one of these companies and they'll send it back and have it where it's like pop a CD in and I can look at it, or have them on a thumb drive. But um, it's just really cool to see memories and past memories. So if you ended up ever scrapbooking, what would some of your ideas of your scrapbooking be? Would it be more about like trips and experiences? Would it be your evolution and growth through modeling, or like where you're at? Like what do you think? Or would it just be like, I just want to make this about where I'm at?
Yeah, I think it would just be like I like things in their place, but I'm also like a maximalist in a way of like there's no way that I can just pick a theme and like stick to it. Like I can't stick to themes like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I feel like it would just be a combination. Like I have a lot of these like herb and like artwork, like grimoire artwork for like deities and astrology and all of these things that I collect. And I feel like one day I want to make like a book of shadows. Like I feel like that's where I would start. I feel like I'm making a spell book, so be careful. And then
Yeah.
also I think that a lot of my pictures, because
Preach.
a lot of my pictures would be modeling pictures for sure, because I'll be honest, like back in the day, I know my mom has like left pictures places that they've got ruined by like floods, or like just ruined in general, or like a lot of stuff is left at my grandmother's and they smoke like freight trains, cigarettes like freight trains. So
Yeah.
everything over there is like ruined. Like I don't want any of that baby stuff. Like period. I don't want the blankets. I don't want none of it because it
Yeah.
smells like a whole,
Barbara.
yeah, like no. So I don't know, like I'm not really hung up on memories as far as like super nostalgic about like I feel like I had a decent, great childhood in certain ways, but I feel like, as things were evolving for my parents, things were happening outside of my control. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And now that I'm like healing and like growing, I can really just see my parents as like 20, 30-year olds trying to fucking figure it out. Like my age right now, trying to figure it out. And so I don't know, like I feel like I don't reminisce too much that I think I would want to start with like my childhood. I don't even know if I have like a to B. I mean, I have pictures, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know like where it all
Mm-hmm.
stands. And a
Yeah.
lot of those digital camera days when we were uploading stuff, we don't have that because like saving it or clouds wasn't even a thing. It was
But
just
how
like
mind blowing was a digital camera back then? Remember just taking a picture and it's right
loving
there
it,
in a still shot
loving
display?
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and here's the deal. These cameras would hype it up like, oh, it's the highest HD, and you're like, damn, I look good in this camera. Because when you get the disposable back, they're classic. I love looking at them, but it's like, man, it ain't picking up my look. But the digital with the flash, it's like, oh, it's pop. But then you look through some digital cameras, and it's like, I don't want to have a hangover moment where I'm flashing through like the movie, and it's like, what is this? Like cringe 2000 or something. So I'd love to look through some old digital camera pictures I probably had in the past. But yeah, just good memories with the cameras. So yeah, they've always been evolving too as well.
Yeah, the thing about digital cameras is like people would just have like however much memory was on this little card, and then you like didn't really get them printed back then. It was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like now my camera's full and like
Yeah.
I need to get a new card or whatever. It's just crazy how like things have evolved because like having it on the card really you just lost the card or like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just like the concept of it. But now the thing I don't like about technology evolving is like we used to own physical copies. Like I only paid fucking $10 for life to own this, but now I
Mm-hmm.
have to pay $10, $20 a month. And
Yeah.
then half the time what I want to see maybe isn't even on here. So like I think that's the one thing that I miss about like the early 2000s and like media itself. And I think that a lot of people like are bringing like vinyls are booming. Like the
Oh yeah.
vinyl industry right now is booming. And a lot of other different industries I feel like will be coming back because I feel like people are also just getting fed up with like constantly having to rebuy the same
Mm-hmm.
thing over and over again. And I think that like that's going to be a shift in media once again. I think a lot more people are interested in those Polaroid cameras, but I'm just not going to pay $100 for one of these cameras that costs $30 in their prime and were slick, like
Mm-hmm.
fire. Bring those ones back and I'll give you the $100.
Yeah.
But like y'all are bringing this little chintzy pop out BS whenever they used to go hard. Like the ones that would print out
Oh
the
yeah.
old Polaroid cameras, yeah, like bring those back.
You
But
go right at the bottom like a
yeah, like
caption.
those, I
So
have
yeah.
a lot of those from my
Mm-hmm.
childhood, a bunch of those from my childhood that I have like in my home possession. But like, it's just weird. Like, I don't have a bunch of stuff. Like, I know my dad has some stuff, like, just different people have it's like spread out, and I haven't it in my possession.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And with the vinyl situation, you're completely right. I think it also gives the listener a different feel. They've heard this album on streaming sites, maybe even on CD form, but when they hear it on vinyl, you get just such a different feel. And it's also I love hearing. I don't have a record player, but I love hearing like a rap album, like the Carter Three, which was something I loved as a CD. We all loved that in high school. That was an album, banger after banger after banger, and hearing that on vinyl is so cool because my buddy, shout out to Nate Roy, trying to get him on this season. He's very busy man traveling. He said hit him up for season 7. Has a huge vinyl collection, and that's an album that we and him talk about how the Carter Three was just so influential to childhood, and just to hear that on vinyl, it's a whole different aspect. So let me ask you. I know that Lil Wayne's important to you too as well. Tell me some of your. Let's talk Lil Wayne because me and you we talk all random subjects. So let's talk Wayne.
Little Wayne, seeing Little Wayne live 2 years ago changed something in my brain chemistry. I got a really good story. So on the way, Little Wayne was in Lexington, and me and my bestie girl were going. And at the time, my bestie girl did not have air in her car because for some godforsaken reason, Honda had claimed this was not their responsibility. That they like did like her car was still pretty new, like less than 10 years old, like 6 to 8 years old. And you're telling me that like you don't know how to fix this for more, and it's like $10,000 what they want to fix it. So we're on the way to Little Wayne and we don't have any air. And it's like in April, like end of April. And it was pretty warm. And on the way there, there was no traffic. We got there on time. We got perfect parking. So it wasn't a problem. We could have the windows down, it's still spring, not a biggie. But on the way there, since I'm a witch, I'm kind of just thinking in my head, like, what it would be like if Jackie did have air and like, everything would be perfect for
Yeah.
her and she didn't have to spend $10,000. Like my bestie's too good of a friend. This is not cool. Like, what's up? So we're on the way. We go see Little Wayne, and I swear my brain chemistry changes. There was a rainbow outside the venue, and I got it in my video. It was about to rain when we pulled in, but it did not get one drop. And then there was a rainbow behind me in our videos. So flash forward, we see Lil Wayne, fucking amazing. It was like the first tour that he'd been back, and he was ending his tour on May 13th, which is my birthday, in California. That was the last date of that tour.
Wow.
And then he actually left that show early because he said the crowd wasn't hype enough, and he dropped the mic and left and didn't perform for them out in LA. He said that they were acting too whatever, and he fucking left. But our show was in like end of April, and it was fire. It was so good. Well, I want to say that it was like less than 7 days, but it may have been like 9 days. Jackie gets a letter from Honda corporate that now there's been a recall on the whole air duct system in the car, and they're going to do the $10,000 repair at no charge to bring it to your local Honda dealer. What's up, baby girl? So that was like within the next week or so, and I just knew that that moment, like, he's like an alien. I know, like, he's so different. He's not a real, like, I don't know, and I sometimes don't feel like I'm a real human, like I'm like a hybrid human or something in a different way. He's like a hybrid human to me, and it was like the way that all came together. Now she has perfect air, so then sometimes she says she gets too cold, and she'll be like, thank you universe, thank you Paige.
Well, my Little Wayne, that is dope. All that is dope because you lined the air up, you had a hell of an experience, and then you feel that connection with Wayne because the way you feel like Simon Alien. So it's like at the end of the day, that is something he's always said because we all love Phone Home, that song. So let me tell you my Wayne story. So I moved to Nashville for college. I moved in with complete strangers. I'm living in some apartment. I'm 5 days in and I'm a college kid and my school hasn't even started yet. And I said, Lil Wayne's coming to town. So I hit up these two shotties from back in Louisville, and I was like, "Y'all going to Lil Wayne?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're going to Nashville." And I said, "Oh, I'll be there." So I show up, and I wore a Lil Wayne T-shirt that said "I am hip hop," and it had Wayne on it, but it had like the fake diamonds on it, and I had that yellow. I had a yellow puffy jacket, and I walk in, and next thing you know, it's Lupe Fiasco opening. But here comes Young Buck. He comes out and talks a little bit. It's at Vanderbilt, and he's like, "Yo, I want this, welcome to the Cashville. We got my boy Wayne." And Wayne comes out and he performs, and then out of nowhere, he brings a guitar out, and that was kind of when he was doing the rock stuff too. And he starts playing, and then he's like, "My love is so soft, my time so," and he's killing. So he plays all these songs. I love it. But here's the thing off the Carter 3, my favorite song, and I think it is my favorite Lil Wayne song, is Shoot Me Down. Like, please don't shoot me down. And I literally, he performed that because this is around the time the Carter 3, and I look at him, I swear to God, when you know, you know. I was the only one standing for that song. I felt like the whole crowd was just chilling. And I'm standing and I'm pointing my arm up at Wayne, and he's like pointing back. And I just felt this connection because I'm like 11 rows back, and I was like, please don't shoot me. And I'm just like, and we're like going hard. And next thing you know, I was like, that was fucking lit. I'm like looking at everybody around me, and like people are like, hell yeah, man. And like at the end of the day, I cannot believe when I got back, I told the three guys that I just moved in with 5 days ago that I don't know, yo, me and Lil Wayne just connected. They're over here like, who's this new roommate dude with this Wayne story? But it happened. So, but no, Wayne was just he was big time in our childhood. And to be honest, the those songs he did with Birdman, how hyped do you get to this day when Stunned Like My Daddy comes on? That song goes hard as fuck.
I like that song a lot. You know, you mentioned Young Buck and
Yeah.
just briefly, and I have a Nashville story about Young Buck. I went to like a concert there, and he just happened to be there. It was like at a small venue,
Mhm.
and they were like basically announcing that he was going to be there. So he came walking up through the crowd, and when he did, he like grazed my back and India's back. Like, we were kind of standing like side by
Mhm.
side, and he like kind of wanted to come between us, so he grazed us apart. And then I turn around, and then she goes, "I think that was Young Buck." And then next thing you know, he's on the stage, and they're like, "Welcome, Young Buck. Thank you for stopping by." It was so funny.
Well, the thing about Young Buck, I'll tell you, I have a Young Buck wild story too. when I was in college, I was trying to be a rapper for a little bit, and I made
I heard about that
yeah,
whenever I first met you.
and I made a song called "Getting Shitty." It's on Spotify, and I made a song every weekend. But at the time, "Getting Shitty" was my song, and me and my buddy, shout out to Jama, he was friends with a guy named Charlie P. Well, 50 Cent hired Charlie P, and Charlie P's big in Nashville. And he is more of, instead of like a rapper, he's more of a video director and shooter. And he shot a lot of videos and he got connected with G and he's always been close with Buck. Well, me and Jama were thinking of ideas for the music video for Getting Shitty and brainstorming. So us being dumb, we're like, hey, give us Buck's number. Not saying Buck was going to rap with me, just to see what he if he would come to the video shoot. I get on the phone with him. He says $2,000 for 3 seconds. I said, have a good day. So I just like hung up. I was like done at that point. So Buck, you missed out an opportunity in the video shoot. 2,000 for 3 seconds ain't happening, bro. But we shot the video. No Young Buck, but it went well. It went good. So, but yeah, Young Buck, free Buck. He just got arrested on some warrants that and he took a picture. So a lot of people have been going hard. 50 Cent started trolling him, and 50 Cent's been very brutal to Buck. I feel like that's kind of got to he's got to let that go. I mean, I know Buck, there's been some money issues between them, but let Buck live in peace. So, but man,
Um, 50 Cent ain't gonna let nobody live in
oh,
peace,
yeah.
and that's the one thing I relate and love 50 Cent for. Even though I hear that he's also an asshole to like women, I don't give a fuck. I love how he rolls. Like, fuck around and find out. I will expose you. You are trash. You're a pedophile. You're
Yeah.
this.
Oh, he's
Whatever
a
you
ball.
want,
Yeah.
baby, I'll be on you, and you won't sleep tonight. And I like that about him. I like how he would rather expose something than worry about the backlash that's coming from that, especially when so much in Hollywood is like being exposed. And I feel like he's kind of the voice of like a generation that kind of like people get shamed when they're not like a part of the group or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I feel like he's been cool with like being the black sheep or like being whatever. And I feel like he made so much money off in the club that like
Mm-hmm.
he don't give a fuck. He
Oh, he
does
don't give
not
a
care.
fuck.
He is in the club money. And that is like a song that I feel like is still in rotation constantly for so many people, especially every day there's billions of people, it's their birthday. And
It's a
people,
certified banger.
yeah,
I mean, it
if
is.
people are gonna bump it, I always play it on my birthday. I know that
Mm.
for sure.
Oh, I love that video too. So I met 50 Cent at Springhurst Liquor Barn in Louisville. He's doing a effing vodka promo. I wait in line. I get in line. My ex is with me. We're in the line. Tell me why this man 50 Cent, super cool, autographed my bottle, takes a picture of me, but he puts his arm around me. And I said, all right, later. Then he gives a little dap. I walk off. That's done. It was a 15 second of 50, done. But I was like, man, that hand, he's seen a lot. That man's lived. My girl walks up. Did he put his hand around her shoulder? Hand went immediately to the ass. Did I say a word? Hell no. I was not about to fucking piss off 50 Cent. I was like, he grabbed my girl's ass. That's cool. Like, it's 50. Like, I got to let that slide. So then she walks over and she goes, 50 grabbed my ass. I said, oh, I saw. So 50's a G. I mean, for him to go from the arm around the shoulder to me to straight booty, my man 50. So, yeah, shout out to him. That's my 50 interaction. But that bottle, I love it because, like you said, 50 is another big part of our life. Well, name a few other artists that were a big part of your childhood?
Britney Spears, free Britney.
Oh yeah.
They hurt Britney, like they're basically doing to Justin Bieber right now. And I really hate what they did to Britney, and I hate how they stole her light from her. So that definitely the Spice Girls. I love the Spice Girls from
Mm-hmm.
the childhood. And then like, Chad Michael Murray for like actors. Love me some Chad Michael Murray. Just random people really, but I don't really feel like there's too many people. It's more of just like the era itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like something about growing up being like, 10 years old in the early 2000s. Like it was such a good time. It was so wholesome. And like before the internet was like an eternal place, it was just a very like limited
Mm.
space. You know what I mean? Like
AIM,
even
AOL.
yeah,
Yeah.
AIM, I
Oh,
love
AIM went
AOL.
hard. AIM went
You know,
hard.
my Made in Kentucky Instagram, that was my AIM name. Like later, in the beginning, it was Red Cherries 2002, baby. 2002 is when I made that.
Oh,
Um,
that's dope.
yeah, so like some of the things that I'm like super obsessed with or like super connected with, I've always been obsessed with or connected with.
My aim was bobblehead Clark because I had bobbleheads and like sports figurines all the
Really,
time, so I was stuck with bobblehead Clark.
one of my friends was Ghetto Neighbor.
Okay, I like that.
Just random. I don't remember a lot of people, but I just remember like that when it was like Ghetto Neighbor 8 or something.
That's
Like
good though. I like
yeah,
that.
like I remember like AIM because you could like differentiate your sound. So when people would
Mm.
come in, some people just had the open door. I love the creaking of the open door.
Oh yeah.
Who's online? You know what I mean? Like wanting to know who was
And when
online.
somebody leaves too.
Yeah, and then away messages would be like so cryptic. But how cool if text was just like that? Like I have an away message right now that says like blah blah blah. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like they need to make text like AIM. Like you should be able to like turn it on and off. Like, do you want to be texted right now or no?
It's like be right back. I'm
Yeah,
eating a burrito, listening
in the
to Machine Gun
shower,
Kelly,
in the
taking a shower.
yeah. Like why were we updating everyone with our every move? But it was cool because it wasn't as invasive.
Oh, true. I mean, it was also a case where it was so fun to know what everybody was doing at that time. It was also a time where it was like, oh, I'm gonna check out. You could like on MySpace, you could get so deep in people's profile where it's like, oh, I'm learning their music, who their top eight, and then you're like, oh, their top eight changed. I remember all that. That was crazy. Like being on the top eight and that was a wild time.
I have a
Tom shook it up there for a little bit.
I really like the crossover with music. That's originally MySpace is where I found Machine Gun Kelly. You mentioned
Mm.
him. He was really big in the MySpace era, but I have a one up for you on social media during
Okay.
that time. So I was like a little weirdo goth kid, and it was around a bunch of goth people who
Mm.
introduced me to it was a social media
Mm.
site called vampirefreaks.com.
Okay, I didn't hear about this, so tell me this.
I knew that you would want to hear the Vampire Freaks. So, Vampire Freaks was kind of like a combination between MySpace because it was based around music, but it was also like kind of like AOL chat rooms where they had like something they called cults,
Hmm.
which is funny because Gemini goes by the cult leader. But basically, cults were like clubs.
Shout out Gemini.
Yeah, shout out Gemini. So it was basically like a club that you could join or be invited or kicked out of and stuff. But another concept on here was there was a ranking system of
Mm.
like 1 through 10, and you could rank people and you got points, and then you were on a leaderboard. So it'd be like newly moving up the board, or they had top girls and top boys.
Oh, okay.
And so I literally made it like my 10. Well, I think the first time I got on there, I was 12. You were supposed to be 14. I was like 12. And then within that range of time, because I was so young, I literally was able to crack their system with kindness because it was kind of a place that was like, it was like pre-suicide girls. So a lot of the top girls were like girls that went on to be on Suicide Girls.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they're super like gothic, orange hair, pretty dreads, whatever. Like back then there was like these things called disco dreads. I have not seen anyone like wear these in a long time. But basically there was just so many different types of people on there. And I was just like a little like punk rock kind of Avril Lavigne, like
Hmm.
little rocker, but no one could tell like how old I was because I just always was like mature and needed to chill the fuck out and act like a kid. But
Yeah.
we was on the Vampire Freaks. So if you screenshotted someone's profile pic from Vampire Freaks, it would put a stamp on the bottom and it would say vampirefreaks.com. So it would
Oh
like tell
shit.
you where they got it. So that was like the original place where I just got to know a lot of people like internationally, and I still have some of those friends today, like still maintain with some of those people. But one of the things on there that like you could do is you could like rate people and comment on their profile. Well, like most people were like too cool for school, emo goth kid, like didn't want to talk to anyone, but they would just be like really aesthetically cool,
Mm.
like whatever. So they would just get ratings. Well, I cracked the system by like going around and just finding one thing I liked about everyone's profile and just being like, blah, 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 love your top 5 of
Mm.
music. I really like this band too. Have a great day. 10 rating XYZ, and I cracked the code because people then were like, oh hell yeah, and like went back to me and gave me a 10. So I eventually made it all the way up to number 2 on the top girls. And the owner of the website, his name's Jet. He still exists. Vampire Freak still exists. It's actually like a store now
Okay.
too. He banned me
Oh
because he
shit.
said I was breaking their rules because he never had anyone who was able to do what I was doing. And so after he banned me, I basically went to high school, and then whenever like I could get back on there, I think I was like 16 at that time, like I was just like not gothic
Mm.
anymore and like trying to fit in high school. So it was like, whatever. But yeah, he banned me because he said I was breaking rules because I cracked his code of like being weird and mean and like people just being mean to each other. And I was like really cool and nice. And then like even the other top girls really liked me. And there was this really top girl, number 1, and her name was Katie, and I was like obsessed with her. And I remember her username. It was X the Art of Goth FU. Foo. Like, but how weird
Where
was
was she from?
Virginia. She lived in Virginia.
Okay.
She had like pet bunny, so then I wanted a pet bunny. Like it was like one of those things. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was like kind of like me, the way she dressed and like the way that she looked. She wasn't like the pastel goths or like the other super gothic people, but she was just really cool. And she went on to be like a gamer, and she had a mass following from there. And I don't know what all ended up where she ended up, but yeah, I think about her sometimes because she was like super influential to me
Yeah,
at that time.
and think about all the other people she probably influenced too.
Oh, people like what's weird about it is me and her kind of looked alike, and there would be people who would like steal things from her profile and mine because like she was 1 and I was 2. I think like eventually when I stopped caring about it, I was still up there. I was still
Mm-hmm.
on the top 10. Like he did not like me.
Mm-hmm.
He and it was so funny, but she was one of those people that like had so many cool talents
Mm-hmm.
and like was like a writer and like really artistic with her photos. And then she had all these animals, and so it was like it was a cool website. Like it
Yeah.
was a website to like represent yourself, and then people just rated you because they either like that or not. But when I started like kind of soliciting people, like, hey, what's up,
Mm-hmm.
have a good day, you look hot today,
Yeah.
and I still do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't fake, that was literally me, and
Mm-hmm.
he did not like that.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this: have you ever gamed? Were you ever a gamer girl?
So I like don't have the hand-eye coordination for
Mm-hmm.
gaming. I just like back in the day, I had a PlayStation 1 and 2, and then I
Mm-hmm.
had like Nintendo 64. And then I remember the GameCube came out and I really wanted one, but my
Ooh.
parents wouldn't get me one. They were like $500 something. They were
Mm-hmm.
like, absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, I played like Gran Turismo and like Tony Hawk and like skateboarder games or just like random dirt bike games. Like, like my mom's husband at the time like had a bunch of games that
Mm-hmm.
we like had and shared and stuff. So like I remember my favorite PlayStation game was called Ape Escape.
Oh,
And
that game went
they were
hard.
gonna bring it back, and then it got tanked, and I was so pissed because they were gonna bring it back like modern day, is what I read.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back. That's my favorite game.
That game went hard, and
It was hard too.
I loved. I used. I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. I usually play sports games when I'm gaming, but when I was a kid, I played them all. And I've talked about this before on the show. Sega Channel was the best. I had a Sega Channel adapter where I'd stick it in my Genesis and it would play me new games every month. So you get all these Genesis games. It was so addicting. Then I went up to the PlayStation. I did a little GameCube, did a little Dreamcast. I touched a little all of them. But I will say this Spyro the Dragon is still
I did
one
play
of the best.
Spyro.
Yes, Spyro goes hard. And
I did.
when they did the remastered one, shout out to my buddy AJ. He ended up getting it on his, I think, PS4, and it turned out to be so fucking cool. And it was like childhood all over again. And then the Crash Bandicoot relaunch,
Yeah.
that was awesome. You remember Ooga Booga? When you would like get the little tiki guy that would like run around with Crash Bandicoot to like keep you alive or like whatever. There was all kinds of characters in there.
Well, I used to play The Sims on the computer and Roller Coaster Tycoon. So I used to play games as a
Ooh.
kid. Roller Coaster Tycoon was my jam. I was so
Okay.
good at that because I'm like a business savvy person. That actually taught me how to run a business. My perks, I would always beat the park.
How
Like
many employees would you have? A
I,
lot.
I don't know.
What was your big like focus? You think like on?
I feel like my big focus was like safety. I always wanted people to feel really safe. Like that was like building dope roller coasters, but them being completely safe.
Do you charge
Because
in your bathrooms?
No.
Oh, your free bathrooms? I did free bathrooms too.
Yeah, I probably did free
I
bathrooms
made
because I
sure.
think that's a scam.
Yeah,
I think how someone convinced that the city of Nashville to rent their parking lots to people instead of allow their patrons to have a fucking place to park was insanity. Now everywhere you look is like those little scam code, pay me $10 to park here. BS. I will spend triple the amount of money if the parking is good, your parking lot's easy and accessible. I will come back. I actually choose establishments based on that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely liked safety, cleanliness, and like adaptability. Like I felt like there needed to be like access of like different food courts everywhere and like, having multiple, like not sporadic, like cotton candy and then they can't find any food or water for 14 miles or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
they'll complain, and
yeah.
those people will complain. And I'll say this in Roller Coaster Tycoon, I used to get very very attached to it emotionally from the standpoint, just like you're saying. I don't want to pay that in real life, and I'm sitting there acting like I'm going to be paying for this roller coaster because I'll build a roller coaster, and then the plaza or like the little entrance booth is already charging 50 cents, and I'm like, oh no, we're doing this free. Like they paid to get in the park. And then I'm sitting there thinking, like, this ain't real life. Like, I'm not really in the park. I got to make money. So I just felt like, why am I over here acting like I feel these people's wallets, these virtual people? But let me ask you this, Plain Roller Tycoon. Tell me you built the shuttle loop roller coaster and had it go off at least a few times. Or,
Oh yeah, well, I
yeah,
was just
yeah.
thinking that. I was just thinking about one time I did build a roller coaster that like because I would have like a trash park, like almost like an experimental park, and sometimes you just downright forget to clip in a place and it just is crashing. It'll be like it'll pop up on the side and it'll be like swiggly wiggly park number 2 roller coaster is crashing. Death toll.
Fires, just
Yeah,
fires
it'll
going.
tell you like people are dying and stuff, or it'll be like people are scared and they run away. Like,
Yes, 53 has passed.
yeah, it's sad. Honestly, though, one time I would like put them into water because it wouldn't kill them. I would have a ride that just like went off into the water,
They're
and
drowning.
but they swim up.
Well, sometimes they drown, and it'll be like, yes, 17 drowned. It's like, oh,
Sometimes they swim back and they're pissed when they
yeah,
get back to.
because they're soaking wet. God, I love that game.
Honestly, I've thought about getting either The Sims or something like that on the computer just because, like, I don't know. But then I'm like, do I need a distraction like that? Because I do really well now and I play zero video games. And that's a huge distraction for a lot of
Oh, and it
people.
can take time. Like you start getting once you get on and you start playing, you're eventually like, oh my God, I'm really glued in here. I'm locked in. Like, and then you're like, wait, 3 hours just went by. What just happened? So let me ask you this. So since you were on a couple of years ago, something I did want to talk to you about. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the show about your successes, but where do you see your evolution and growth that's happened over the past few years? What have you been learning? What do you feel like has been a um, good feeling and like just things that you're very proud of that has happened in the past couple of years that you feel like has taken, just the time to get to where you're at now?
I feel like something that I've really, really grown on a lot was with the podcast, Look It Like a Lollipop, that Gemini and me started. Because during the time of us starting that podcast, my Patreon community was pretty new at the time and she was just getting hers going as well. And then we had a lot of people who were coming in with all this support, like just love your podcast, love you all are amazing. And we brought all these people into our community spaces, and then like grown 40, 50, 60-year old women are like causing high school drama within the community. And like at the time, I feel like I was going through so many dramas with so many people that I was friends with, that I had online and offline. Some of those same people like insisted on visiting and like, kind of inserting themselves into my life. And just so much stuff was happening. And I feel like at that time, I was like, holy fuck, like I was not expecting this. Like I'm trying to help people heal with a spiritual community and like give people friends when they don't have them. And here I am like getting fucked. People are trying to like steal clients and ruin mine and Gemini's flow. And so I feel like that like growth period that I've seen, because like that went on for about a year on and off with different people, and even some of the like snaky people doing it to both of us. And for the last like year and a half, 2 years, I've really come like full circle in like how I respond to things differently now, and how instead of like giving you my energy, I'd rather carve your name into a candle and light that bitch and chill and relax, knowing nothing you could ever say, do, or reflect towards me could hurt me at all. And I could derail your whole life with a candle. It
Mm,
feels like very peaceful. Feels like maybe people who have a vendetta or beef or whatever need to work that out on their own and
mm,
not project that into a space that actually I don't give a fuck about them. So I
mm,
think I've gotten to this point, Eric, of like I really do not care who comes, who goes, if I find a life partner, if I have a child, if I do any certain thing. Like so much stuff has happened in the last 2 years of like letting people go and like this full circle moment. It just feels like instead of trying to like control every aspect of my life and have it all figured out, I'm just like soaking in the moment, and I do not care if something that I've been working towards um needs to go on pause, or like I need to take a step back from something instead of trying to force myself to like keep going and keep pushing and all this shit. I'm like finally at a point where it's like my bills are paid, my shit's paid for. I don't have any student loans anymore. I paid them off instead of complaining about them or
mm,
bitching about shit that I ran up, I paid my dues, and now I feel like fuck y'all.
mm,
So
yeah.
that's where I've came, and I feel like the old me, even like a couple years ago, 3, 4 years ago, just wanted to help people and like wanted all these things. Now I want people to help themselves. I can give you some clues or a part of the list, but you got to do the work. Like I don't give a fuck if you make it a step 10. I'll give you 1 through 3, and that's all I got for you because Spirit said you have to do the work now. And most people don't want to do that. So I felt like I was just dealing with a ball of fuckery for the last like few years. And now I've reached this breaking point of like, none of that matters. And I've came so far from reacting to new things
Mm.
because new things are still going to come, right? Like, or even entertaining. It's like my self-worth has went up exponentially and my give a fucks have went out the window.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And to be honest with you, it's a good feeling to feel that because I'm right there with you. Like, my bills are paid. I'm happy. I'm in a job that I really enjoy. And I've something I've learned from you and learned from others. Reflection's been very important to me, and I've got to reflect on life, and I've been very happy and very thankful, and I feel more appreciation in this year, and I've learned those things. So I'm right there with you in the aspect of sometimes you just don't have you just don't give a fuck. And to be honest with you too, it's nice too that I haven't cut anybody out like it's a personal thing, but I've kind of let the circle get smaller. I've stayed in touch with the people that I care about. And at the end of the day, those are the people I want to evolve with and grow with. And that's where like my guests this season that I've had on the show, those are people that I'm still staying in touch with. I want to connect with. I want to grow with. And that's where a lot of people have asked me, they're like, hey, I love how you've had the same guests on each season, like a few of them where we get the updates. Because I have a couple guys, they're avid listeners. And I tell them, I said, those are people important to me. They bring something new each time they bring a story. And I like to hear their journey. And you're definitely somebody in that level as well that I love hearing your journey, love hearing that aspect. And every time we link up, we just catch up and we're always laughing and we're always cutting up and just being goofy, but and we love roosters, but at the end of the day we also we're always feel like we just pick up from just day one like that, every time we pick up. So it's like it's really good to hear that you're at that point. And I can tell just from not just an online presence, but when I'm around you, you're a lot more happier, you're a lot more laid back with things of just not letting shit bother you. And we went to Tumbleweed together and caught up right after the holidays and stuff, and it was awesome. Great dinner together, and I felt like you also at that point you have been through so much and you've worked so hard, and I could see your strength and courage that you were ready to just conquer another year because we were right there at the beginning of your phase. So what are some goals that you want to still conquer with this year and and take it from this thing? I know I'm was long-winded that response, but I just wanted to compliment you on I know what you've been through, I know how hard you've been working, and so what is what's the end game? Well, like with goals this year, like
I feel like personally goals, just like getting all the way back onto like my fitness journey. Cause like I've still been on like 2 or 3 days a week, but I used to go 6 days a week, like
Mm.
religiously. And I really liked that version of myself that made time for me
Yeah.
or just like put other people's needs like wherever they needed to be. And sometimes like it is true, like once you start getting results in something, you slack off because you're like, oh, I don't need to go every day now. But like that's something. So like last week I did go 6 days. This week I have been exhausted and have chose to take a nap and rest because like I'm trying to listen to my body. So being like more present and really with the Lick It Like a Lollipop podcast, trying to expand with
Mm.
that more because we do post, which is like 2 episodes a month, and sometimes we skip a week and reset the algorithm. So like today's Good Friday, so we just decided to like wait until next Friday to like extend it out, and we have a guest coming on Monday. So we've been doing really good about stacking episodes because both of us have been going through major life changes.
Mm.
So trying to stay flexible and like present with that, and honestly just trying to allow people space
Mm.
rather than like needing an answer because I am very much like I like an answer. I like to know where we're at. And some people like need to sit on it or like need to do their own thing. So I feel like I've been like working on being more present and not allowing my need for speed
Mm.
to feel like other people are leading me to believe something different. You know what I mean? Like just because someone hasn't exclusively expressed things, maybe they're not good at expressing those things.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking romantically. I'm mainly talking like business and collaborations. It's a lot trying to navigate like interviews with people you've never met or
Oh yeah.
people that you have no personal connection with and like get them to give a fuck about your project or even vice versa because I see where even sometimes I make plans with people and they're really looking forward to it and then the day before or like a few days before, I'm like, hey, I really can't do that. I never wait until the last minute.
Mm.
It's always like days before where you could still plan something else
Mm.
that day. Because if I wait till the day of, I'm doing it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no matter how I feel. But when it comes to like photo shoots and different things that I do, I'm trying to get more creative in that aspect and going out of my comfort zone and wearing outfits and things that are more spur of the moment. I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes whenever I plan things out, too long in advance, I overthink it.
Mm.
When like today I threw together this outfit in my head, had some of it working, but didn't really know all the details, and it came together. So I think that worked better, even almost last minute,
Mm.
like under pressure. So
Yeah.
just expanding more on just being present and not feeling like just because I could send the email tonight, I'll just wait till Monday. Like it can wait
Mm.
till Monday. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be today.
Not putting also I think the a hard focus on yourself of like I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done. And it's good to relax, it's good to clear the head, and like you said earlier, the reset, it's really nice. What would you say is spiritually you feel you gained over the past couple of years, just more of a connection on a spiritual level, or have you feel like you've learned more about not only yourself but how you're reading others?
Yeah, so I feel like I was just so locked in and booked up. Like there was this one time like a year ago where every slot filled for like 4 months out and I collected like a huge amount of money in 1 month. And then for the next 4 months, it felt like I was working for free. Like
Mm.
although yes, I did get paid, but like I was so drained and burned out and that was like from like August of last year until like, January. Like I had readings that people paid for even the next year. And then in February, I did this event and it was like going crazy. And I just had this breakdown moment where like I don't ever get sick. And I got like lost my voice, was down. And there was just like a part of me that was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you need to focus on you. Fuck these people, not in a mean way, but in a realistic way that I'm driving myself into the ground
Mm.
to help people that may or may not 50% right are helping themselves, and the other 50% are looking around confused. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
yeah, the money, extra money, and like extra streams of income, everybody thinks they want all those things. And yes, they're amazing. But like, when it comes at the rate of your own mental health and your own like life. So I just basically, for the last like 6 months of the year, I was so like burning myself out, that in February I just had this epiphany moment that like I have no time for it. I don't care if like now my prices make me way over here where you can't afford me. I'd almost rather be in a new sector where it's not someone who's like scraping their last 50 to like think I'm going to change their life, or like, Grandma Betty's coming through. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like it's not the case. Like people think like, oh, well, you're a medium, so you can just channel people. No, that takes so much more energy, and that's not even what you paid for. What you paid for is for me to tell you what your higher self, your spirit guides. If there's like a dying message from someone, yes, I would relay it. But like people didn't understand, and like making myself too available has kept me in a caliber of people still questioning if they made the right decision spending this money. And so now I know my worth is way too advanced. And now I've picked up all these private, like AKA celebrity clients, like just a list of people I couldn't even, it's too exclusive. I can't tell people. But Bunny XO has changed my life. Like put me into rooms that I never ever thought I would be in just going onto her podcast. So I've been on her podcast again since I was on yours, and I'm about to go back on. So like mine and her friendship has really helped me grow and evolve spiritually, because she's such a great like role model and like a friend that's like seeing me when no one else saw me, and like she saw me and was like, I'm gonna give you my platform because I trust you.
Yeah.
And like the way she puts me in rooms constantly with people who have 20 million followers, where we're all just shocked. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and then they're like, you're changing my life, you're a miracle worker, and these people are on TV and stuff. So like here lately I gave it like the closed gate on the website, but then the floodgate opened with like a whole new funnel of people I actually get excited to work with and hear from, and that don't question like, are they making the right choice spending $500 on this? Like they're like, I'll pay for me and my friend and my cousin. Can you download WhatsApp and talk to them because they're in Australia? You know what I mean? Like it's been really advanced of like expansion. So I feel like I had to take a step back to realize my worth, to realize where my focus is not like flash readings or helping every single person that I can, right? Because I feel like it was like energy vampire central is what I was dealing with. Not that all my clients have been that way, but there have been a few stingrays along the way that have sucked it out of you. And it's like, and then Gemini and me have experienced people just straight taking our ideas, like straight up just taking exactly what we're doing and then redoing it. And that's frustrating.
Oh, 100%. Because it's like when you create something, it's like you're doing the work, you're coming with the idea. Why do I want this person to take it? And that's super awesome about your celebrity client list. And it's super awesome that she's done make those connections for you. And that is something I know that you shared me before. Like, I'm getting to do these opportunities. And so I'm very, very happy for you to be able to do that and to learn and grow from that. I feel like too, I feel like we've all grown, we've all matured, and we've experienced so much. These past really like 5 years has been a lot just for everybody, just like humans in general. So I will say this, that me personally, like this being the finale episode, I feel like this podcast season, even though it's taking me a little bit longer, I've been way more confident in my episodes, solo ones, guests. I have felt prepared mentally going into each episode. And so that is something that I feel so much more relaxed this season going into this thing. It's like when you, like in the past, I always feel comfortable with you. I always feel comfortable with my guests, but there's that anxiety, that pressure before you really. Now it's so much more relaxed. And do you feel that way with your podcasting, that now it just feels natural going into each episode? There's no like pressure. It's like, hey, hit up the record.
Yeah, so just a little fun fact for you. Like I think it's like 75% of podcasts have like 10 episodes or less, because most people start a podcast and realize how hard it is. So like for you to have 6 seasons, we're on season 4, like it's a lot. Like people don't realize how much time and energy and focus is put into something. And it's just like with anything though, like I definitely feel way more confident, but also I think just in general, my like public speaking, since that's major and like my bachelor has evolved in ways that like now like you came to my public speeches. I just did one recently.
Yeah.
You'll have to come to the next one. Like I'll get a room full of people and just speak to them, and people are like, I don't know how you do that because you're channeling it. Like I'll have an outline that I've made and I've went through, but I will not use it hardly at all. Like this last speech I decided to reference so I didn't forget anything, but like I normally just end up channeling new concepts around the same theme, but like keep the core message,
Mhm.
you know?
I've seen people cry after she's talked because of what you said has literally linked with them so well, lined up with them so well. So like that has been so powerful to see because I remember I was sitting on the left side of a place where you're speaking, and literally over to the right, she just this you read the numbers out, you knew you channeled this woman, and this woman she really needed it that day. She needed a release. She needed to hear something, and you lined it up perfect. So that was a powerful moment. Like that was really cool to witness.
Yeah, I'm like love that place. It's called the Sanctuary of Eternal Truth, and it's in New Albany,
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. And it is such a welcoming spiritualist church congregation, but it like you can wear whatever you want. People are so welcoming. Like they're just such sweet people, and like all walks of life come there. And almost every single time I speak, people who have never been there before are there for the first time. And I just spoke there like maybe last month, and my friend came and ran into someone she knew who had never been there ever. So like there's so many different symbolistic things I feel like that happen, but those speeches have really brought me a sense of community in real life, being able to help people like that that are getting just a channeled message for free, like for just showing up that moment. And I do feel like that's such a beautiful way for me to connect with people in person because even when my business, like it's always been online. Like right now, I have voice memo
Mm-hmm.
readings only. I don't want to do any video for people except Patreon. There are spots on Patreon. You can get a really discounted spot on Patreon, but it's a subscription. And normally, when people subscribe, like that's something that's like a new bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're committing to a new bill. If you're just coming in once and opening the door and closing it, and I might not ever see you again, I'm going to charge you.
Yeah.
But like the people who've been getting readings every month, like I've never increased them. They start at 50 and go up to like $200. So people get whatever tier they want. But it's been really beautiful because there's been people on there that've been on there for like 2 or 3 years
That's
total.
awesome.
So that's been really cool. My community space is growing. My client base on a monthly scale is growing, and I've like been doing the voice memos, and I only opened like 5 days in April and they all sold out except April 29th if you want to claim one of those. But it's really cool because there's definitely a demand and people are willing to say like if she's charging $100 for these 10 minutes, I know these 10 minutes are going to be good. Like,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
it's going to be worth it instead of, oh my God, she thinks that she can charge that. Like, if that even goes through your mind, like, please get off my website because what I'm going to tell you in this 10 minutes is going to be so thorough, so quick. My mentor calls me like shotgun reader. She says, like, she's like, you're like a machine gun reader. Cause like, I literally just channel, like, it comes out, it just flows. Once I'm in flow state, like, I don't know what I'm about to say. And like, and what's cool about my gifts is I trust enough to say the shit that means nothing to me. Me telling you the purple Chevy Sunfire or
Mm-hmm.
whatever means nothing to me, but your grandmother drove one of those or
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that meant nothing to me, but now I'm saying it and it means everything to
Mm-hmm.
you. So like that's what's really cool about my gifts is like I trust them enough that I don't care if this person is sitting here looking at me on video chat confused as hell. I'm still going to say it. And then like 6 months later, they'll write me and be like, I now understand what you were trying to tell me. But it's like, are you open minded enough to take that in? And I feel like I've never had an interest in like helping everyone until I started helping people. And then I felt like I had to help everyone. So now I'm like, there are so many readers out there in your price range. There's so many people out there starting fresh for the first time. Like I did free readings for a whole year on my website. I paid my dues. And I still do like every Christmas I'll give away like 3 full readings. Like I do all kinds of stuff. So like people need to count their own blessings and stop worrying about what other people do with their gifts. And that's what I've been trying to learn. Is like, just because I can do it doesn't mean I want to do it. Just because I can do certain things doesn't mean I do them for other people.
100%. You have to know your worth, and I will verify. Paige is legit. She's read me to a T before, and so I've been like blown away. And when I
He
do
didn't even ask me to bring the cards this time.
oh, I
He
actually,
ain't
to be
ready.
honest,
He ain't ready.
I need it to happen soon. But no, I love when she brings the cards. It's always fun, and the last couple times have been so accurate. And then going to the church and watching you speak, it's always been very powerful for me because it's been accurate for me. But it's also, like I said, it's really cool to see the crowd reactions and to see how people react and talk. So before we wrap up this episode, something because you and I, we always like to fun and cut up. So something we were talking about before the podcast. So in the dating game, we know how people's houses be, and something I want to say. Thank you, Paige, for the compliment. She said my house is very clean for a guy, and me and her started talking about how like, and I've been to Paige's house. It's very clean. And I just feel like me and her have seen some things in our days. And when you enter the dating world, I'm just going to be frank with y'all, people, guys and girls. We're judging the toilet. And so if you can't use a toilet brush before I come over to your house and you got a poop ring in the toilet, I'm first of all I'm going to clean it. And then second of all, I'm not texting back and I'm leaving. So that is where you there's a respect level. And the toilet is a big sayer in the relationship, especially in the early stages. Would you agree?
It's really the whole bathroom, and like I'll definitely check the toilet, but sometimes, and I will say, people have hard water, so sometimes those circles are from like the water. But what I always look at is the condition of a man's toothbrush, and that tells me everything I need to know about him, his dental hygiene, and everything he does. Because for one, I have been in relationships with people in the past who literally bring a spend the night bag but don't include their toothbrush.
That's wild. That is
So
wild.
you're coming to stay the night with me and not bringing a toothbrush, knowing damn well I'm about to have a brand new toothbrush and give you one. And then I've had those same men be like, "Do you care if I take this toothbrush home?" And I'll be like, "I don't care. Take it home." And they're like, "Cool," because mine at home is kind of bad.
It's like you don't have backup brushes.
It's like you can't go buy a fucking $5 toothbrush. You don't go to the dentist and them give you a free one. Like, what is wrong with you bringing a bag with stank ass clothes that you're about to wear, but you can't bring nothing to brush your stank ass teeth?
Exactly. You can buy the Equate toothbrush. I think it's 5 pack $5. So it's like get some toothbrushes.
I have so many travel brushes, and I always have extra brushes at my house in case like someone needs one, because y'all are dirty going to someone's house with an actual bag. I understand if you're just like spur of the moment about to stay the night somewhere, you don't have a toothbrush. But I even like when I used to be on the go all the time, like before I had my own crib and lived at my grandparents, I had a bag of toiletries and like,
oh yeah,
like I had like, you want to get a hotel tonight and have a party, but got a bag already in the car. Don't even need to go home. I'm gonna tell my grandma I'm doing this.
Yeah. got
whatever.
the grip. Got the grip.
Yeah,
I called it a grip.
Like everything I need.
Yeah.
Like don't even worry about me.
I got it. And the toothbrush is very key. And to be honest with you, there's just some things where it's like, yo, it's a very simple thing and it's very affordable. Just throw it in the bag, like straight up. But also clean your toilet. So, anyways, I want to tell you first off again how proud I am of you.
Thank you.
I also love connecting with you. I want to have you again on season 7. I'm after this finale. I'll do my break, of course, and then I'll be back for season 7, of course. I want to also tell you, thanks for making the time, and we've had a blast tonight. So, before I do my sign off, how can people connect with you? And I want you to do your sign.
Yeah, you can go to lollipoppodcast.com and that will take you to my podcast. And there's also a About Me and Gemini separate sections that take you directly to my website, which is contrarycherryco.com. And if you Google Contrary Cherry, you'll be able to find me. I also have a Patreon under Contrary Cherry. My social media is linked on my website. So if you make it to any website that I said, you will find me in all my forms. And be aware, as soon as you follow me, there will be a scammer that says, "Hello, beloved. I feel a strong connection to you," and it will not be me. So stay safe out there. Scammers are real.
Scammers are definitely real. I've had the Facebook stolen before where I've had to use a password to recover. But Paige, again, thank you so much for being on the show. She just passed me over some stickers and some swag. And to be honest, she always delivers stickers every time I record. So I really appreciate that. Um, Thing also I want to say is vibingwithsleazy.com. The logo will be finished here by this weekend on the kind of the t-shirt aspect of the site. The site's running great. You can listen to this episode when it comes out and all the other episodes. And again, season 6, episode 21, the finale for this many episodes. It's just a really special thing. And I'm just really, really excited to, deliver season 7 in the future, but just listen season 6, catch up. Any love, any feedback, any support, any guest recommendations, give it to me. Bible and Sleazy on Facebook, Instagram, and BibleandSleazy.com. So, Paige, again, thank you. And we are out.
Bye.
Peace.